So now we're going to learn about our other way to measure angles, and these are called radians. So the definition of a radian says that 1 radian is the measure of the central angle of a circle that intercepts an arc equal to the radius of a circle. So what that means is if we've got a circle, 1 radian for the circle would be the angle where if you make an angle, this part, so this is called the central angle, and we're saying that's 1 radian. If this part right here, that's the arc, is equal to the radius. So if that happens, you've got 1 radian. Now, to study this a little further, we need to think about the circumference of a circle. So if we went around the whole thing, so the circumference for a circle in terms of the radius is 2 pi r. So we're going to look at a unit circle, and a unit circle just means that you have a circle with a radius of 1 unit. Okay, so this is a circle, and we put the center at the origin. So the radius is 1 here. So one thing we could think about here is that means that 1 radian would be the angle that would have 1 unit around. So what we can also think then, what would be our radian if we started at the x-axis and we went all the way around? So it's intersecting the whole circle. Okay, well, that would be the circumference, which would be 2 pi, and our radius is 1. So it turns out that all the way around the circle is 2 pi radians. Now remember that pi is a number, 3.14. So if we want to kind of approximate what 2 pi is, you'd see that this means this is about 6.28 radians. So don't let the pi's throw you off. We will keep it in terms of pi. If I asked you how many radians is going around the full circle, I'd want you to tell me 2 pi, not 6.28. But it's good to remember that that's just a number. Okay, now, what if we started at 1, 0, so you know, we've got our standard position, and we go to -1, 0. So we go halfway around the circle. What would halfway around the circle be? Well, it would be half of 2 pi, so 2 pi over 2. We could cancel out the 2's, and we would find out that it is pi radians. Okay, so halfway around the circle would be an angle of pi. Okay, so we can think about since we're used to degrees, 180 degrees is halfway around the circle, and we said that that was pi radians. Okay, 360 degrees, well, that's the full time around the circle. We said that was 2 pi radians. Okay, 90 degrees is just going a quarter of the way around the circle. So it's just going this way around the circle. So that would be even half of our pi. So it would be 1/2 pi, which we can just write as pi over 2. Okay, 45 degrees is even half of that. So if we had pi over 2 times 1/2 to split it in half, we would get pi over 4. Okay, let's skip down here to 30 degrees. 30 degrees would be 1/3 of 90. So pi over 2 times 1/3, 30 degrees would be pi over 6. Okay, and let's look at 270 degrees. So 270 degrees is if we come all the way around this way. So we actually have 3 times 90 degrees. So if we take the 90 degrees pi over 2 and multiply it by 3, we would get 3 pi over 2. So 270 is 3 pi over 2 radians. And in the next video, we'll talk about if you have any degrees, how to convert it into radians. And if you have radians, how to convert it into degrees. But this is just showing you that radians come from kind of how far around the circle you go. And it's really talking about what the length of the arc that you're intersecting is.